Fearing that black literacy would prove a threat to the slave system, whites in the Deep South passed laws forbidding black Americans to learn to read and write, and making it a crime for others to teach them. Since education is power, black Americans were prohibited to learn. In Maryland, it was legal for black Americans to learn. Moreover, sometimes white people tried to taught them how to read, write, and do math. Education was the first step toward freedom. Discrimination is the practice of unfairly a person or group of people differently from other people or group of people. In Topeka, Kansas in the 1950s, Linda Brown and her sister had to walk in a dangerous road switchyard to get the bus for their all-black elementary school. There was a closer school to her house, but it was for white students. Linda's family believed that schools shouldn't be segregated by race. They went to the court. The federal court decided that segregation in public school is harmful to black children. But since black schools and white schools has similar transportation, building, and teachers, the segregation was legal. Black Americans are at the bottom of the social hierarchy. Discrimination was practiced in early civilization, but varied depending on region and culture. Interestingly, just like the society, Black American had some hierarchical divisions within it. The division is mainly based on race and sometimes on gender too. Since white Americans are upper than black American in the hierarchy system, prejudice will occur in the community, which we don't want this to take place in our society.
The first act to overcome their subordination happened in 1955, where it all started by the curious 42-year-old lady, Rosa Parks. She was curious of what civil rights she had as a citizen, so she broke a law by sitting in a white designated area in a public bus. She refused to give up her seat, which led her to go to jail. After 4 days, a young pastor named Martin Luther King Jr. started a boycott on the public bus company, which affected the company immediately, because 70% of their customers were black. After almost a year, the U.S. Supreme Court upheld the lower court's decision declaring the bus company's segregation seating policy, where black people would sit in the back and only white people are allowed to sit in the front, unconstitutional under the Equal Protection Clause of the 14th Amendment. After a few months later, Martin Luther King Jr. called off the boycott, and Rosa Parks was the first person to ride the public bus. After her courageous act, she was called the mother of civil rights movement. Social media was used in the past as a tool to fight against racial inequality. It was used to spread awareness of the racial discrimination that the minorities were feeling. For example, Martin Luther King Jr.'s infamous speech, "I Have a Dream." The speech was documented as a film and was viewed by many people as a goal to achieve in the future. Social media can elaborate the social learning theory, which would help the society to eradicate racial inequality. People could learn from one another by observing or understanding a message someone is portraying using a form of social media, such as the speech, "I Have a Dream." The racial inequality is decreasing in our present time due to the great impact that the social media has in our society.